and then...
Hello. This is the 5th-6th place playoff between Stirling, who are in green and will be playing from left to right as you look, and Bristol, who are in black and will be playing from right to left.
Yeah, that's right. We're in the university leagues. It's good to see such a high turnout of teams for that one, keeping up the influx of young talent.
Yeah, I think was there 15 or 16 teams overall, I think?
Yeah, I think we've ended up, 11 here, but between slowly a few dropped out, but we've had still 11 is very impressive. Especially also to see some long-term teams continuing around like Bristol, who've been here since the very, very start. Former BQC finalists.
Yeah.
Many years ago.
I think Stirling have got some glory in their history as well.
Really?
I think so. I can't remember.
Maybe. I'm sure this will be a glorious moment for them anyway. All to play for.
Not much of a quad ball historian. I'm looking for anyone wondering who the snitch is. The snitch is, excuse me. Snitch is Joshua Fogg.
And our head ref appears to be Fraser Posford.
Yeah.
A good cheering rouse from the Stirling bench.
Yep, and the players are lined up and ready to go.
Fraser Posford going through the usual preparation questions. We've got number 24, McIlwraith for Bristol, running against number 10, Offmat of Stirling. It'll be interesting to see the difference in speed versus if Offmat can get the more muscled shoulder across.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fraser definitely giving a bit of benefit of the doubt there.
Definitely,
so
yeah.
both went.
I think I've seen a few.
Offmat getting that shoulder in.
That was
sent
really
him flying.
good.
He is not happy about that. And Offmat scores that. Dodged 2 plunges as well. That is 1-0 to Stirling. A very good goal from number 10 for Stirling.
We'll say perfectly fine thing to do on the start.
I think it was one where probably I think the Bristol player was leaning a bit too far forward to get a bit more momentum.
Yeah, I mean once you're leaning on each other, you're allowed to like step across each other, you know.
I think that's definitely what we're seeing more with this new startup, is actually not as much about full acceleration, but also you want to be able to get that arm in front.
Yeah, you need to get in front of the opponent.
Oh! A very, very deft, simple little goal. Utilising the off-bounds bludger for Stirling. The number, I think it was number...
I think it's the current point chaser.
It's the current point chaser, yes. Number 20 for McIlwraith. Just deftly sort of waltzed through them all and just deposited it in the hoop.
As a classic trick to do, so you can score from either side. It's approach from the hoop from one side, then kind of reach over or round it and put it through.
Definitely.
Meanwhile,
always good to utilise when a player is on a hoop. For them to be able to tackle you, they have to step out and essentially engage at your core, which means that you can just go right over them. And that's what he did. He took that hit well.
If you go around the hoop, they can't block from behind.
No.
Unless they're the keeper, but it's still hard.
Yeah. So, it's a yellow card.
Meanwhile, we've had Stirling went on the counter-attack. I think the penalty here, it was a tackle from behind against the Stirling player.
Number 5, Clarkson, it appears. Against a Bristol player, sorry, I think he said. Stirling.
Against the Bristol player, yeah, I'm sorry. So the contact was against a Stirling player, so the foul was committed by a Bristol player.
Now, Stirling are in a very good position here, but they have a lot of players around here. But the question is, if they run that, if they get that temptation to pass it around, they risk overcooking it a bit.
I think what they want to do is just give the ball quickly to Offmat, you said,
yes,
number
10,
10 and let him drive it in.
Or taking the hit has been very good. That looked like it was a shoulder above the net contact. Offmat has got the ball,
It's been called. I see the referees indicating the foul.
That was very swiftly called. But I think we all saw the fact that he was almost had it in a headlock at a point.
Yes.
That clearly it didn't look clean, unfortunately. So, and that's how it gets you. I've got to say credit to the Stirling chaser for choosing to sort of run, take that contact, and also managing in the end to get the ball out, actually, even without the ref.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen now. Oh, there is a dodgeball on hoops. So
Offmat could go for the shot.
Yeah, I kind of think it's difficult to recommend doing. So I think the volleyball will go back. Yeah. So I think probably the best thing to do is for Offmat to try and get into the hoop Or maybe just to reset it back to Norman, the keeper.
Yeah, I mean, it would be one way you could see the argument, at least reset it by trying to score.
Yeah.
But we've also got Billy Barker right by the ball
there
carrier.
is a beater there, so if that beater can tackle Barker or just distract him long enough.
Yeah, that isn't biting from that beater.
Then the chaser with the ball now can charge the hoops, draw the beat from the dodgeball on hoops, and get the ball away to Norman. And they've gone
for the reset. The tackle is happening though, as you said.
Reset.
However, the tackle did not wrap up enough of that bludger, and they now get that fast reset.
Yeah,
very.
The beat is missed.
Very harsh for Stirling almost to feel like they came from what should have really been a goal with 2 yellow cards. Ended up somehow conceding to make it 1-1, but they still have at least just a bit under a minute with 2 players down.
Yep, and it was just a fast break, and unfortunately the beater at hoops missed their beat.
Yeah. And we saw how it could lay out, and unfortunately that was how it was with the positioning of Billy Barker.
All right, and is that another tackle from behind now?
Oh dear me.
So what I think might be happening is, so this is the first competition in the UK where those tackles from behind are allowed.
Yes.
The ruling is that you have to be stopped.
Yes.
Before you make the tackle.
I think they're going a step early, aren't they? Just before
they're just diving in a little too much.
Yeah.
And I think what's happened is a lot of referees have been kind of happy to let a certain degree of back tackling go as long as you're not whacking the other person.
Very true.
So it's possible other referees have been allowing this kind of tackle to go.
Obviously, one of them was a high contact anyway.
Oh yeah.
Behind, but the 2 others, I do agree with you. There is an element there.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen. I've seen it once only where we've had 3 players in a box, and that was for a full start from 3 of our players. We had.
No.
That was quite a fun time to be with, but that was many years ago.
So now it is Bristol have a keeper and 2 beaters on the pitch.
And do they have dominance as beaters go?
Yes.
They at least have 2 armed beaters.
Now, for those of us who maybe don't watch quad ball regularly, or maybe those of us who haven't heard the term dominance, can you tell us what dominance is?
Yeah, so obviously we have unlucky that we have 3 dodgeballs in play at all times, and 4 beaters, so a team will always have either 1 or 2. The team with 2 has dominance and obviously has a tactical advantage there. Oh, wowee. You know what? Credit to Bristol, they've just scored twice now with 3. This player by themselves. Actually, they have gained 2 back now.
They have,
but it was really by themselves. Just scored.
That was just to pick the ball up and run and break the tackles, and it was that beater dominance, which I also know is control. Control's the other common term in this country.
But that is where the control. You almost feel like maybe they should have used the time to get back control, maybe.
Yeah,
or if they're not, because they weren't going to get a goal, but they could. And it's a shame because I have seen Stirling play a few other games, and they were a bit better in attack than this. But they do seem to be missing Eamon Harrison, which is maybe a bit of a. Oh no, that was Kelpie's. Apologies. I mixed up. They're same pitch and similar kits, but no, they were better anyway in attack normally. They were a bit more. They were calmer, and I think maybe they're a bit rushing. Yeah. That sort of pressure of expectation. Oh, and another goal to Bristol. I think the expectation when they had the man advantage was almost a detriment to them. Almost.
Yes, maybe. There's definitely a little bit of they are struggling in the dodgeball game to get any sort of dodgeball control.
Very true.
And
they're up against a seasoned player in Billy Barker, which when this is a team who I think haven't got as much experience in the beta play can be.
Yeah, there are some fairly experienced chasers that I recognise on the Stirling team.
But I think in this sport, as we're slowly seeing, the beta game is a big part. Really dictates it all.
The beta game is so important. The betas don't directly score your goals, but they make them happen.
Exactly. As we're seeing here, is taking one person. And I think also the issue for Stirling is that they don't have a physical lineup in the same way that Bristol do. Yeah. So when it comes down to chaser versus chaser from a no bludgers, they don't have the ability to make those tackles to stop that momentum.
Yeah.
And Bristol are able to just get through. Bristol now, however, displaying a different kind of goal. A very nicely worked pass goal, but again, the drive was unable to be stopped.
Behind. If you also look what happens, we're just talking about how important the beta game is. The number 55, who's just subbed off, was the only dodgeball holding beta. Mm-hmm. They went and pressed out onto the wing.
Oh, that's a dangerous game.
To try and I'm not sure. I think to try and take out the passing option there.
Yeah.
And what
but it
that
left the receiver.
Yeah, it left the receiver entirely free. It's one of those tactical situations where you need to be disciplined and just sit on the hoops until the pass happens, and then try and beat the receiver.
It is very difficult for beaters because almost sometimes you have to just switch off your brain and just go for the simplest thing and not overthink it. And sometimes, as you say, the simplest is to sit on your hoops and beat when the ball comes near you.
Yeah.
And that's honestly, sometimes it's as simple as that. But it's very difficult to not overthink it and think you could do more, especially if you feel like you feel the pressure to do a bit more to make a change when your team's behind.
The tactical complexity.
Oh dear. That was a bit of a mix-up there. That was a lack of, I'd say, almost trust. One player had the pressure on the copper carrier. The keeper went to go support them, leaving behind the passing option when really they should have just let the other person deal with that, and they could stop that. And unfortunately,
maybe a little bit of communication issues there.
Yeah.
One thing Stirling don't have is they don't have someone in the sub box just giving them instructions, because a lot of teams have that. A lot of the top teams have that.
Especially at university level, they've got quite a few experienced community level players who can give that sort of guidance. You are right, and I think Stirling would benefit from that.
Well, as someone who's not normally a beta but playing beta this weekend, and I have been playing beta this season, although it's not my usual position, it's 10 times easier when you've got someone who knows what's
100%.
happening, telling you what to do, so I don't have to think.
Yeah, betas can come down to, in its basis core, if you want to just do a decent job at it, it can come down to a nice, easy flowchart of focusing on the quaffle, making simple decisions. But you need to be trained and educated in that, and it can be very difficult to get in that, because otherwise it's a very overwhelming game.
Meanwhile,
it's very difficult to not. But obviously the upper levels are the ones where they can go a bit further off that one, or they can also guide that and let people know that it's because you're always, when you're a beta, you're making that decision of, is this worth this?
Yeah. Is it worth losing my dodgeball for? While we were talking about all that, Stirling's attack fell short by a pass thrown too long.
Which has been, I think, quite a few of theirs have been similar veins, unfortunately. They do like the pass over the top, and whilst Bristol also like that, theirs are a lot more. Oh, well, to tell a lie there. Mikilrath is a
very good receiver.
Yeah, a very good, and also a big thing is though, you could be good at catching a good position, but you also got to, when you've got that player in front of you, be able to make good on it.
Yeah,
and he's got that sort of slipperiness where he's able to duck and dive and gets into the
duck, dip, dive. Is that what they say in dodgeball?
I think dodge is also in there at some point.
Yes,
but that might just be me assuming. But yeah, so that is now 7-1 to Bristol.
Stirling playing the attack slow.
Have now put on off-mat their goal scorer from earlier, and that is a beautiful little goal. Much better than what a wonderful goal! That feels like completely different to what kind of play we've seen before.
That's the kind of goal you do on the training pitch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just throw behind.
And that comes from having your structures helps. They put the players where they should be, so that they know what they're doing. And sometimes if you overcomplicate it and you think, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that, you'd stray away from that.
I think a good throw straight to the receiver's hands helped a lot.
Exactly. That, I definitely think that was one where the receiver didn't have to go a bit further back, which they've had to do, which takes them away from the hoops. This was just the receiver got that right in their hands. And then
they successfully drew, I think, both defending dodge
That
balls,
was also the thing. They left the height. They went away from it. A bit like how Stirling did a bit, where I think the markers went towards the ball, leaving behind an unmarked chaser at the pitch.
Note that Stirling now attacking with control. Reset the ball. That's all right. So resetting the ball is taking it back over the halfway line, or your keeper's own line.
But if you were to take it back over both, it would be two resets.
But you can do it once, but not twice.
Still keeps
Norman holding on to it. That.
Maybe, I don't think that is Norman, or is it, has Norman put on a shirt? No, Norman has, I think Norman isn't, Norman's wearing
no, that's not Norman. I apologise. I thought it was. I didn't spot Norman subbing off.
Yes, no, I think that was unfortunate. Very good work to keep hold of the ball. I think maybe almost panicked because of the amount of pressure and felt that they needed to shoot.
The shot was actually very good. It hit the hoop and knocked over. From where I was, I initially thought it'd gone through.
Yeah, I think the decision was a difficult one, cause, with the player defending. Wow,
that's been given.
45. Cameron doing very well, hopping over them. But I think it's the sort of thing where the angle with the defender, they had to shoot wide of the hoop which led to the spin. So they were always under a bit of pressure. They had a bit of a small area. It wasn't an open hoop, and I wonder if that's where I sort of think maybe if they'd taken a bit of a step, could have put it just in the hoop. Or as we've seen from Bristol, they're very good at going towards them and actually just stepping around the defender, whereas Stirling don't quite have that confidence.
Meanwhile, Stirling attacking.
There, we saw again. Oh, he's still got it.
They lost control. Oh, there's brooms down called.
We also do need to discuss that even if anyway there was no brooms down, that was a miss.
That was a miss. He could. Is he okay? They've turned over the qualifier. I didn't catch what that call was for.
No.
I didn't see what happened either.
Maybe I don't know if it was in the keeper's hands or maybe if off mat. Since he took away from the keeper who should have had it safely, maybe didn't realise the player, but I'm not sure either.
Maybe, maybe he was just beat and it should have been called off.
Oh, that could also be.
Because I noticed he was off mat was just sent back to hoops for whatever happened.
But in the same vein though, there we go, another shot for Harris. It's a similar vein though. When we saw with that chance from off mat that he didn't really want to take that extra step and go around.
Yeah.
He just sort of decided to put it from about 2 to 3 yards away. And I think that's the thing that Stirling are missing, which we're seeing Bristol do and punish them for, is that Bristol are more than happy to take the extra step, basically contact with them and then put it around over.
Yeah. So Stirling were attacking with.
Didn't draw the beat, as I say, would maybe be the point for the point chaser. Is that the beater put pressure on them to pass, but they didn't allow the beater to get close enough. So the beater was able to just turn and beat out the passing receiver.
Well, all their pressure made the receiver miss.
Yeah.
Well, here's Bristol again on the attack. Going to go for the drive in,
Arrow,
dish it out, block the beat, have the shot and miss. Holding the ball, coming back from behind hoops. Pass
on the receiver. Wait,
no, that's blocked again.
Was it blocked? I did not think that was blocked.
No, that's the call. And
I think he thought his option was there, but his option was already beat out. So good work from the beaters to at least limit the damage that was potentially coming and building.
And now Stirling have control and the volleyball, and they start their attack. General strategy here is try and clear a lane to drive through, try and force the defending bludger onto the floor somehow.
I think Stirling have to be aware of the fact they haven't got physical driving. I think they need to rely on the passing game a bit more, I think they need to slow down things sometimes, because their beaters aren't necessarily going to clear the lanes, and they clearly don't want to. They've left a beater behind as they advanced upwards, which I think is a fair enough strategy. But,
is it when you need the goals? I guess they can't give away goals either.
Yeah, exactly. I think they have been have weaknesses at both ends, so it's very difficult to decide which one to go for. But I think they definitely have had a very much influx of goals in the recent 5 minutes.
That's another Bristol attack now, with lost to a wayward pass.
We're seeing now the momentum change. Now, if Stirling can pick up 2 more goals, take it to 9-4, and they can catch the snitch, then that could be a 9-7 with a decent set score.
Yeah.
It's never away from them right now, but they've got to make sure that they don't panic. I think they have to start doing something crazy.
They're holding both dodgeballs, or they're holding 2 dodgeballs.
They're keeping one on the halfway line.
And
that was
the attack, the pass, that was never going to make it.
They have no bludgers though. If they wanted to,
they have a bludger in. They've got both.
Now Bristol do have a bludger back, but
they send one to pick off.
Put more pressure on. I think a more experienced team. He missed.
Now what happened there? I'm not sure what the other dodgeball was doing.
No.
They had one behind hoops.
Okay, it's a no bludger situation. Now Norman is on pitch, is steaming up, does spin. However, the tackle managed to actually pop out
and Norman's beat
out of Norman's hand, which
and
is very good.
They have
and the keeper is just clutching it to their chest. Very impressively done.
Meanwhile,
very good tackle.
Stirling have lost dodgeball control as well.
Oh dear, that was not a successful attack for them, unfortunately. And
so Bristol come again. They're leaving now because Bristol are so far ahead. It's all they can. I think they're in a better tactical place to leave a dodgeball near the hoops as they are.
And they can plan now for long term, just getting the snitch caught.
Yeah, it's like they don't care if they hold the volleyball for a long time without finding an opportunity to score.
because they just need it to stay as it is.
Yeah, they can leave the score as it is.
And I'd say that a 9-5, even if Sterling were to catch at their 9-2 right now, would be very difficult to beat on set score, especially with the rate we've been seeing the scoring go.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is, if they were to catch the flag, then they would go to set score where there's 3 more. The team with the highest amount goes 3 up there.
I dare say with Snitch on pitch.
Oh dear. That is
that's
and that is a goal from 39. Yep. Easy break. The beaters caught up in various difficult battles. Bristol beaters doing very well essentially to keep them engaged.
I think it's much easier to say this watching the sidelines than on pitch. But I think the Sterling beaters are just having a few issues with getting too involved in the dodgeball battles and losing sight of the volleyball.
Yeah. I agree with you. It's very difficult to. It's very easy to when you're in the quaffle game, the volleyball game.
Yeah.
Ask the beaters to keep an eye on that when they're getting pressure in the dodgeball game from various different beaters. So it's very difficult to just leave it behind.
Sterling receiver dismounts, and that's an easy run through, just beats the defence on pace. And it's now 11-2. I was going to say, once Snitch is on pitch, with Sterling presumably having to put a dodgeball into defending the Snitch.
It's not going to. They will need to catch it quicker rather than
later. They're going to find that the volleyball game and the scoreline will turn even further against them, I fear.
I definitely agree with you. The physicality of Sterling's line, and I noticed this in a different game.
Yeah.
They are a relatively shorter team than most.
But they do kind of.
And that is, and they are, so they're short and quite slimmer than and we got quite a bit of height on that Bristol line from quite a few taller men. Yeah. So it is an issue of that when it then comes down to who can tackle more.
I think they
will be Bristol.
I think they have a pace advantage as well.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Bristol have called a tactical timeout.
Very interesting. I don't think they need to change anything. Are they discussing
I don't either. They're probably. I didn't catch what the time was. The game time was right now.
I just see the Snitch warming up a little bit, which makes you think that it might be nearing that.
Yes.
And we certainly, it's 11-2, but it hasn't been too often a goal. I'd say it's been maybe a goal every half a minute, minute probably. So
I'm just trying to put my jacket back on as it gets a little colder here suddenly.
Check that for you.
Their score, yes, they've been slowed down their scoring lately, haven't they?
Yes, I think Sterling have done better at the defence. The issue is now that they were not really sacrificed because they weren't able to get much on the attack, but it's not yet able to improve that offense.
But I definitely think a timeout right now, or maybe a couple of minutes ago, would have favoured Sterling much better because they could just take a moment to stop and look and say, right, what's going wrong here? What do we need to do?
Agreed. I think that's the interesting question is that when you're in a position where you're winning and you're doing well right now, why would you give the other team a chance to regroup and come up with new tactics? But if Bristol have requested it, then that is Bristol's decision and all their wisdom. Maybe they don't think that Sterling will come up with the next thing, or maybe they feel they're ready to counter that if it does happen.
Yeah, I think, I suspect your hypothesis of they're preparing for Snitch on pitch is the correct one.
And that's a good thing to do, especially for teams like this where they are still learning.
Yeah.
As in University League, the importance of sort of preparing a good bubble is something that you cannot. In another way of this, how you can make beating very easy with a flow chart. If you're in a bubble, have you got the bludger? Is the seeker on pitch? Beat the seeker. That's your own question. That's your only question. At all costs, you beat your seeker. And
again, for those less familiar with quad ball terms, a bubble means putting your dodgeballs around with a flag runner that's called now.
For better or for worse. Oh, I had to say that. That was beat before. That was a very good beat by the Sterling beaters. And Rebecca Norman bring it out. Very good little tackle, but springs back up. What is the tenacity?
Failed to hold the player on the ground.
Credit to the Bristol Chaser for the tenacity and continuing to just hop up and keep going.
But yes, the bubble is using your dodgeballs to protect the Snitch, the flag runner, from the other team's seekers.
Essentially allowing no time for the seeker to have on the flag runner.
Yeah, and it just means that your seeker's the only one who gets to get close.
Yeah. But that's the thing, is that if you take it to its simplest thing and you allow the beaters to not have to do too much thinking, that can often be better. Obviously, the higher levels you see certain trades and decisions made for the beat dominance and everything there. But at its core, you really just want to make sure that the Seeker has no chance of catching the flag.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Sterling lose out on another attack. Just the pass was too high, too long, and went over the receiver's head. And Bristol picked up the ball, fast counter-attack, no volleyballs, no dodgeballs in defence. The terms volleyball and dodgeball for the new names of the balls, I'm still getting used to them. Does it show?
I think it's interesting that we don't call it the quad ball when the sport is quad ball, but
I think strictly speaking the terms volleyball and dodgeball and flag.
There are 4 balls, isn't it? That's why it's called quad ball.
I think strictly speaking the terms that we use at the moment are sort of placeholders, while proper, more kind of thematic names have come up with.
What, you've got any suggestions, Arcady, for those sort of ones?
A
name for the flag or anything?
I can't think of what to call the flag. I think renaming the volleyball to the quad ball is a decent idea. I'm not against the name of dodgeball.
Yeah.
Although I would kind of like something that doesn't end with ball, so that you don't got volleyball, dodgeball, quad ball, dodgeball.
For me, if I had to come up with a name for the flag, I'd go with Lengerman.
Lengerman.
That's a good name. But that's just my personal opinion. People can discount it as they wish.
Where does the word, was it Engerman, come from?
Well, no. Well, you got Ben is short for Benjamin. Therefore, Len must be short for Lengerman. You know?
Okay.
That sort of simple situations there. But again, number 24. Oh, what a great tackle from Fortnite.
Very
honestly, very unlucky. Deserved more from that tenacity from Sterling. They can hold their head up high for that tackle, but number 24 is a very slippery little chaser.
Yeah, need to keep the arm pinned. You know, Snitch is out on pitch.
Yes.
And
Josh Fogg.
And yeah, there was a case to be made that the beater who threw a fairly speculative beat into that tackle should possibly have taken a few more moments to come closer and make a more sure beat.
Especially midway through the pitch.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean...
that was an interesting bat away from Bristol.
Unlucky.
They've got the ball going on another counter-attack and runs straight past a beater who's too distracted by another beater and totally missed that the volleyball had been turned over.
It does feel like, I don't know if Sterling are getting more tired, they're maybe brain switching off, but we are seeing a lot more just counter-attacks from Bristol, whereas before, you know, at the start of the game, it was a bit more well-worked goals, whereas now it's just becoming a clear sign of a domination of a game in that you're seeing one team just sprint it down the pitch.
Seekers are out. It's one of those ones of Sterling need to be more communicative.
Yes.
So,
22. I've seen 22 go before, and I've been amazed at the explosiveness of their style. So nearly yields results.
I understand that she is being scouted for Team UK.
Really?
Yeah.
Elliot Fisher should be worried about his spot as the star seeker then.
Yeah. Although the Sterling seeker out. I should know his name. He wears Riken on his t-shirt. He's a very wily seeker as well. So we've actually got 2 quite good seekers here.
I'd be intrigued to see number 24 seek for Bristol, considering how they chase. You know, they're quite slippery, quite agile.
Yeah. No, he was beat before. He was beat before. It will not count. It will not count.
Billy Barker is not.
That should not count.
It was, you know what, a fair play. I think it's Marco, isn't it?
Marco Lombardi. Yes, Marco Lombardi.
But fair play for the tenacity. Unfortunate to there's a chance might get, if he was called beat, might be ignoring ref calls, but
I didn't hear a referee call it beat.
Oh.
I think we saw the beat here in the commentary booth.
But was it maybe screened by the seeker's body or something?
But we are, from where we are, to be fair, we are pretty much perfectly placed to have seen that beat.
We are, definitely. I mean, fair play to the opportunisticness. Then that's what comes out of no longer having any defensive seeking.
Yeah.
Is that we have those opportunities where everyone is just going for it. I wonder, because obviously, let's be real here, 16 to 2.
Yeah.
A snitch catch for Sterling will take them to 5, a set score of 19. It'd be very difficult for them to...
So, catch is called no good, beat before.
Yeah.
Right, so the referees did see it. That's good to hear. I didn't hear the beat. That doesn't mean they didn't make it. They were making the beats for players, not for us.
The good thing is that it doesn't mean that they don't think the player was ignoring ref calls, which would have been a card. And now I think the Bristol beaters beat. Yeah, the flag runner gets a welcome rest, and Bristol have scored another quick break.
Yeah, in a situation like this, the snitch becomes so important. That was a very close.
I think she said about wrapping, maybe?
Yeah, back to there was definitely a bit of a 2-arm wrap around there.
That is the one issue with her style, is that she goes in with both arms a lot, and it's very difficult. Yeah. When it's not as ordered as other styles may be, it's very difficult to keep a track of where your arms are, I think, for her style.
As far as I'm aware, I could well be wrong here, she's fairly new.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if she's as good as she is when she's so new to it, with some proper training, more time to train, more experience, she will be a very, very formidable seeker.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it will be very interesting because there are so many different types of seeking, but we don't see many.
Marco nearly got it.
So close. Don't we see many small-bodied seekers nowadays, do we?
Yeah.
We used to have quite a few, I feel like, back in the day. I feel like...
well, the Sterling, I think, is off pitch right now. He is. There's Sterling's Benzinger is a very formidable seeker in his own right. He's rather small-statured.
Yeah. Bring back with the days of sort of... I can't remember her name.
I think I know who you mean. I can't remember her name either. Yes.
Blonde.
I definitely know who you mean.
Sasha something.
Yes. I think so.
But she was very small. The days of Tom Hutton as well. Those two very big profile for getting quite a few catches. But
she's got it. She's got it.
There is something
that looked good to me.
You don't really see one where that is just a pure tire out the snitch. And you know what? It takes. I think her height helps her because she gets in under the reach of the snitch, so the snitch cannot get rid of her.
Yeah. That's what you have to. That's what you have to do if you can't reach over the snitch. You break it. That catch is not being given.
It's a wrap, unfortunately.
2-arm wrap again.
I thought that was maybe she did disengage, but she is struggling to keep a track of that.
Thought that looked. I think the thing is, right, with experience, with some training, she's going to get that habit out of her, and she's going to catch a lot. She's been warned next time it's going to be a card.
I just wonder how will she do against a stronger snitch?
Yeah, that can be.
Would a stronger snitch just push her into the ground, or would she be able to get underneath the reach a bill or a...
The thing is, I think she was the chaser earlier who you commenting got thrown to the ground and just bounced straight back to me. There, she's got it.
Now that's a legal catch.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And you know what? To have that stamina, to have that energy still this far, she's been on the entire snitch game.
Yeah.
And she has been non-stop. I'm honestly... Josh Fogg has just been worn down. I feel like he's probably grateful for the moment of respite that these ref calls keep giving him.
I think Foggy, the flag runner there, underestimated a little bit the pace of the seeker.
Yeah, and the issue is once you're in there, you can't get away from it.
Yeah.
You can be aware of it as much as you can do, but when they're then at you, that's it. There's no way of stopping that one. You have to you're praying as a flag runner for the beaters to come in and get rid of it.
Yep. So
that is 5th place to Bristol.
Yeah, 5th place. I'm trying to catch a glimpse of the score table, see the final score.
That's an 8, I think. So I think it's 18, maybe 3, maybe a 4. I think it's a 3.
Yep.
To Bristol. That is 6th place. A very respectable position in the end for Stirling, really. Yep. I think maybe they are a small team. I think quite a few of the university teams are. Maybe the stamina and fatigue has slowly caught up to them here because they've clearly done very well to get 6th in this tournament.
And you can't argue that Bristol didn't deserve this game. They were clearly the better team on attack, on defence, clearly dominant,
and on the flag runner.
Yeah, and they dominated the dodgeball game as well.
They did. I think it was a comprehensive victory is the best way to describe that one, really. But I think Stirling put up a good show, and they've definitely demonstrated a very good talent and a lot to look forward to for them in the future, as have Bristol. It was 18-4 the final score.
Yes,
actually.
or maybe do they add the flag points there? Might have been 210 starter for. You'll be able to find the proper score when it gets published somewhere.
Exactly.
We got a little distracted by watching the Seeker game to keep track of the score.
Yes, but yes, unless anything more, then
I think that's going to be it until the next game.
I think it is what is our timing? It's 4 o'clock coming up now, so it will be maybe a uni final.
Let's
but
take
I
a
don't
quick
think
look
so.
at what the
We'll
next
check
game
the
will be.
schedule.
Yeah, so the next game is going to be the university final, we're told.
Very exciting. York versus Warwick. York
Two-
coming off the upset of SQC
Yeah.
on this pitch.
And Warwick being a very, very good team here.
Yes.
Like the standard received wisdom is that university teams aren't as good as community teams, but Warwick, I think, would have something to say about
Exactly.
that.
And I think York should have something to say about that. If they're
Yeah.
beating SQC, who are
Very
reigning
good, yeah.
champions, then they really should look at themselves and say that they've got every chance of winning. So it will
Yeah.
be a very good contest, one to
Yeah.
tune in for, definitely.
Yeah, so if you come back for that soon,
Yes.
when that kicks off, the commentary will come back. But till then, have a good day, and from us, goodbye.
Goodbye.